Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. As you can see behind me, there's been quite a lot of work done quietly. This is why there aren't that many videos. You can see the parts that took me so long to do are now finally done. I've just got to true some of them, so they're not completely finished, but everything is done. And we're going to get on and do the builds, and I'll take you along that journey with me. But for now, I'm just going to take you through the process of the finalization of the spraying and what I've done on this particular occasion. You know, some of you will know that I'm not a powder coat guy. I don't believe in powder coating motocross bikes when they're going to scratch and get damaged anyway. So we follow the manufacturing specs on paint, but there are different ways you can paint with really hard paints that have etching in them. And in this particular case, we're trying a new paint, which is a etching black primer, and it's a nice matte-ish finish, a silk matte satin finish, which is what these bikes were when they were made. They were not gloss. You can see if you look at my 250, I did that in gloss, which was a mistake. It should be a matte finish. But anyway, we rectify that with these bikes, as I'm not going to go back and strip that bike until I've got more time and then finish that off. But for now, we're going to get this done. The color's right, the finish is correct, and it's got a 2-pack, which means a hardener epoxy-based paint, which is what they would use in the automotive trade and would have used in these days, which is why after 40 years, there's still a lot of paint in areas that don't get rub. So, let me take you through that now, and I'll see you on the other side. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to spray clear coat onto all the black parts that I've just done on all the metal parts, which contains a primer, an etching primer, and it contains a gripper of some kind. But it is a 1-pack, which means that it is still susceptible to solvents and things like that. So I'm going to put a clear coat on here. We use lacquer here at work, Leckler, which is here at work, and now I'm going to just get the mix right of the amount of thinners that I need in this, because I don't want it to be a gloss finish. I want it to be a, it's like a satin matte finish, which is what the original was. It wasn't gloss. It's going to be a standard Speedy 0174 hardener, and I'm going to put in about 15. So that's going to come to 68, 67, 68. So for this ratio, to get it to a matte satin, I'm going to put in just less than half that total amount. So that would be 63 would be half. So we want to go about 50, something like that. So I'm going to add that to that. So let's call that around, this is where my maths is rubbish. 5. There we go. Okay. So we have all the ingredients in there. We have a 4:1 ratio, plus half of that, a little less than half of that in thinners on top of that. So it gets to 95. So it's 50 to 12 to half of that. So they're now ready to put the spokes on. Already these are 2 sets for the front and 2 sets for the rear. And yeah, we're slowly getting there. It's been a mammoth task, but I think well worthwhile. These look good. A bit of a gamble and bought a bunch of screws that I think look online like they could help with the missing bolts in the casing. This is new stuff. Unfortunately, these are hex, and that's not what you have on the traditional cases. They're screws, but there'll be some in here that will match, hopefully match these ones. So they're all different lengths. So let's see. See, the tires are in, and we've got all sorts of bits and pieces here. This is the wrong ones, thank you very much. This is a 250, we don't need those. So there you are, guys. That is the process of getting the bike ready to start the build. Now, there will be lots of areas on the bike which will be bent or not, or a thread that isn't quite correct. So there's a lot of work to do on the frames, even though they've been painted. It's obviously ideal if you can build a bike completely before you paint it and then go and paint it. I get that. There will be some comments about that. But in this particular case, there's just so many parts to do. I feel that I can consolidate my work, tidy up my work a little bit more if I can get a color on them. I can always go back and touch things up if I need to, but they would have done this in a painted form anyway, so I've just got to be super careful about making any changes, or if I have to weld anything I haven't seen yet. So now we get on with the build, so I'll see you on the next episode.